Hi, welcome to Thoughtful Thursday. This is Coach Corianne, and I wanted to share 5 techniques that have helped me reduce my anxiety and overcome my depression. As most of you know, I've struggled with depression, anxiety, and addiction throughout most of my life, and I was never really taught any healthy coping techniques other than grounding myself in nature. I also wasn't really taught how to live a healthy, happy life. So when my PPA, my postpartum anxiety and depression, was at its highest, I was sitting at the kitchen table one day and realizing that cannabis just wasn't doing enough and I needed to get some help. I started reaching out to other people I've known that have overcome anxiety and depression, and I just started researching, reading, listening, watching, discussing, and following, replicating those actions of those who had overcome depression with minimal or no use of modern day pharmaceuticals. So I get a lot of questions on what I did, and I wanted to share today with you the top 5 actions, lifestyle, daily behaviors that I've changed that have helped me along my way the past 4 years. So if you've been following me on social media, you'll know that I went dairy free and lost about 50 pounds while I was breastfeeding my daughter, but I've also kept the weight off and have greatly reduced my risk of diabetes. I kicked that depression to the curb, and I really found a supportive group of friends. I started living my life purpose and just loving myself. So through my own mental, physical, and spiritual journey, I've come to realize I'm passionate about helping others with their fitness, nutrition, and mindset. And if you guys need any more help with your health and wellness besides what I'm sharing in this video today, feel free to send me a message on Facebook, Instagram, or email me at coachcorianne@gmail.com, and we can chat privately. So now I want to share those 5 techniques to lower your anxiety and overcome your depression. Go ahead and get your pens and papers ready. I'm going to share why we do it, how we do it, and briefly what science says about each of these actions. Okay, ready? Number 1 is going to be a gratitude list. Sorry, you guys, this is gonna bother me. I should have put some hairspray or oil or something in there. Anyway, number 1's a gratitude list. Why do we do a gratitude list? Well, it instantly stops that fuck my life mindset. You can stop focusing on the negative and start expressing more appreciation for your life. Start being grateful for what you have, what you do, who you know, and just life itself. How do you do it? Simply make a list in your head. I use an app on my phone. You can use a journal, a post-it. Write 3 to 10 things you're grateful for. You can do objects, money, people, specific character traits of people, things that have happened in your life, things you're looking forward to. Be specific about yourself, others in your life, thoughts, ideas. Start to think about your 5 senses. And what does science say about writing a gratitude list? Just briefly, it literally rewires the connections in your brain. So when you're having a negative situation or going through something negative, your brain is going to be easier to think of the positive. You're going to think more, love my life, not fuck my life every time something bad happens. If you kind of want to reflect back on the past few months, think of the people who've been handling this COVID stay-home orders and everything being closed. Who's been handling it with overall positive outlook? That can mean various things, but if they're having a positive outlook, I can almost guarantee these people are probably ones who express gratitude on a regular basis in their lives. And feel free to reach out and ask them as well. So the second thing you can do is have thoughtful breathing. I'm sorry, the sun is kind of in there casting a rainbow, but I'm just going to leave it because it looks kind of pretty. Anyway, so thoughtful breathing. Why do we do it? When you learned how to breathe, we didn't really have to learn how to breathe, but when we talk about breathing, we talk about inhaling and exhaling, but we've never really discussed or learned or talk about the mindful act of holding in your breath and just being still, letting the air flow as it flows. How do you do it? So it's basically just inhaling, holding, exhaling, holding for the same amount of time each time. I like to inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, hold that for 4 seconds, and then repeat that 3 more times. If you can't do 4 seconds, do 2 or 3. If you need to do longer, do 6 or 7. Whatever is going to work for you, and do it as many times as you need to in order to calm yourself. So what does the science say about it? When you take control of your breathing and you start to slow it down, you slow down your mind and you start to take control of it. The third thing you can do, I'm sure a lot of you can guess this was going to make it to the list, exercise. Why do we do it? It's a great way to get out physical frustrations, worries, doubts, fears, and anger. And it instantly builds some self-confidence and builds your self-esteem as you see results and you realize, hey, I can do 1 more push-up than yesterday, or I lasted 5 more minutes than yesterday. You start to build that confidence within yourself, and that is going to manifest and have a butterfly effect in other parts of your life. How do you do it? 10 to 30 minutes a day is suggested. You can do it at home, yoga, walking, swimming, dancing, weight training, anything that just gets you up and moving. I think at one point in my life, I was doing just sweeping the kitchen a couple minutes a day in the morning and just kind of doing some good morning stretches, and it kind of gets your body just up and moving. If you need any help with that, definitely reach out to me. You guys know I can hook you up with the workouts. So what does science say about exercise? You hear it, you've heard this before from doctors, you read it all the time, but you guys have to do it if you want to get the results. If you've done any research on anxiety or spoken with a therapist, you know that you get in this flight or fight response to the things happening around you. And when you get stuck there, your body is just constantly pumping these chemicals that it's only supposed to be pumping in times of high stress and trauma, which isn't supposed to be every day, all day long. So when you're stuck there, how do you get rid of that? Well, exercise literally helps your body release those hormones and helps you make the stress relieving hormones easier. So exercise definitely is going on the list. Number 4 is one I talk about often, and I hear people say they don't like to do, or they've done it and they fall off of it. It's not really I think it's kind of an instant relief, but it's not something that doctors talk a lot about. There's not a lot of scientific data to base it, but healthcare professionals, I know my own personal experience, therapists will recommend it and they'll just kind of leave you hanging. Journaling. Journaling, we do it. It's a great way to, again, release those frustrations, worries, doubts, and fears, but in a more mental way. It's like a private diary of your thoughts. Can kind of be a judgment-free way to vent and release, where you don't have to worry about your therapist, your friend, or your spouse judging what you're thinking or reporting or using it later against you. It can kind of just be write whatever you want and then burn it if you want to, or throw it away, or just lock it in the safe and don't let anyone see it. Just let those words out. So how do you do it? 5 to 15 minutes a day. Set a timer. You can just free write whatever you're feeling or thinking. There's journal prompts. I can help get you some of those. You can Google them, Pinterest them. Try to ask a therapist or others that you see that are doing some self-improvement activities, or other motivational speakers that you see. They may have some journaling suggestions. And at the end of meditations, I usually you'll usually hear some suggestions from meditation guides. So what's science say behind it? It's a great way to just really get rid of those emotions and get rid of the intensity of them. A good way to express yourself and provide some clarity in your own life, and just get everything out and release so it's not all jumbled up in your brain. And that's honestly the only way I can describe it. So the 5th thing you can do to help reduce your anxiety and overcome your depression is a practice called visualizing. You'll probably hear of this less than you will journaling in the self-help books or at the therapist's office, but it is a great tool for those who have been successful in reaching their goals or overcoming their lifestyle struggles. So visualizing, why do we do it? Because it trains our mind that all things are possible, and it kind of just allows yourself the freedom to think, what do I want? What is the good? Sometimes we're just so fixated on the bad. It's not always the words, the self-talk, the affirmations. Those are one thing. The gratitude list, the journaling, getting it out, and trying to get your thoughts to be appreciative, but also the images in your head. So what is visualizing and how do you do it? I watched a video, a TED Talk one time, and it had a great practice where everybody closes your eyes and you think of the drink Rockstar. And when you think of the drink Rockstar, that brand, the Rockstar, the yellow and the black, pops up in your head, and that's your visualizing. That's your third eye opening. That's your whatever you want to call it, your visuals. That's what that is in your brain. That's you being able to see in your brain things. And sometimes all we're seeing is negative and bad things, especially if we're dealing with a lot of worries and doubts. Your mind is just overran with that. Subconsciously, just on replay, there's a video of everything that can possibly go wrong. So with visualizing, we kind of want to think, what's everything that could possibly go right? Even if we don't want to be irrational and be like, oh, everything's going to go perfect, but we do want to put that out there and say it's okay if everything does go right sometimes. So how do you do it? You can do it with a journal. You can do it through meditation. You can sit here and just think about it for a few minutes, whatever ritual or routine that's going to work for you. Vision boards are very effective. I've done a vision board class. So I usually tell the attendees in my vision board classes that each day they should wake up and just spend a couple minutes looking at their vision board and thinking about, how does it feel? What does it look like? What are they experiencing when they achieve these goals? So a couple questions you can ask yourself when visualizing are, what does your ideal day look like from start to finish, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep? What does your future look like when your youngest child is 25 years old? This really gets you thinking more about yourself. You can always start with, do you think your children will be like? And then kind of think about, who will you be? What will you be doing? What are your hobbies? How do you spend your day? Who will you be around? And how will you do, what will you be doing for work or pleasure? A couple other questions can be, if anything were possible, money, time, and resources, knowledge, and support were not factors or issues, how would you live your life? Describe it in detail. And then simply asking, what brings you joy? And then focusing again on your senses. So science talks a little bit about visualizing. For the most part, it's just basically changing your brain activity and your biochemistry, altering the way your brain is working and the way it handles stress, and just improving some physical and mental capabilities. So in summary, the 5 techniques to reduce your anxiety and overcome your depression are gratitude list, thoughtful breathing, exercising, journaling, and visualizing. If you found this video helpful or you learned anything at all, please share it with a friend or tag them below. I really hope you learned something new. I do recommend doing each of these activities daily, all 5 of them. It shouldn't take you very long. Personally, they've really helped me. No, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a mom, just a woman, just a human, trying to smile more days than I cry, and trying to help others along the way. Feel free to comment below if you have any questions or if you decide to try any of these actions at all. Message me if you need me to elaborate on anything or you need any help coming up with a plan of action. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram or Facebook at Coach Corianne. Peace and love.